A refrain we often encounter from hunting and conservation groups is that we are losing hunters. Despite the number of influencers posing with wide-racked bucks and a line of pickups at the gate for the local dove field year by year, deer hunting is losing popularity. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the factors contributing to the decline and explore some of the nuances of what these declining figures mean. First off, the number of hunters has increased from previous decades. However, these numbers don't keep in trend with population growth. While there are actually more hunters today than 60 years ago, there are also significantly more people in the country. For example, in 1960, approximately 14 million hunting licenses were sold to American hunters. In 2020, just over 15 million licenses were purchased. So, the population is growing, but deer hunting? Not as much. So what happened? How can the percentage of hunters shrink from 7% to just over 4% of the American population? Like any question about hunting, the answer is never just one thing. The reality for many Americans is that they are also having to drive hours for an area that permits hunting. When the nearest deer hunting spot is more than an hour or two away, it becomes harder for hunters to justify driving to hunt for a few hours when conditions are right. For adults who didn't hunt during their childhood, the availability of mentors and time constraints further complicate their ability to join the ranks of hunters. Factoring in equipment, tags, education, and time off can be a sizable expenditure for the average person. To further make scheduling a challenge, deer seasons have become a patchwork of dates that can make planning time off a nightmare for those with limited time or understanding of the regulations. Following on the heels of reduced seasons, there's a noticeable reduction in access to hunting land. The rise of large-scale farming and increased suburban sprawl has incentivized many property owners to take the payout and sell their small acreage farms and camps that were, for generations, huntable property. The transition from small ranches and farms to gated communities and massive farms removes the huntable lands, and the transitional area is critical for wildlife to reproduce and thrive. The lack of patchwork land use has led to the diminished population of wild turkeys, quail, deer, and even songbirds that require diverse plant life to forage and escape predation. Public land is an option for deer hunters that we, as Americans, are fortunate to have. With the loss of small private areas, the public lands are now bearing the weight of more hunters than in decades past, while also being used by non-hunters with increasing frequency. Just like any other commodity, hunting gear is expensive. Looking at the cheapest new deer hunting equipment options can cost hundreds of dollars before boots and clothing. Adding the price of tags and licenses can be an additional $25 to $250 depending on state and residency status. Private hunts and leases can become astronomical for a hunter unable to find public land. For example, the average cost for a deer lease in Missouri is $8,000 annually. This is an average from a well-known deer hunting state, but with less and less private land available to hunt free or lease, these prices are likely to continue to climb. Does all of this mean deer hunting is done? Not at all. Deer hunters across the nation are working hard to keep the tradition alive. States have R3 programs to recruit, retain, and reactivate hunters. Working hand in hand with state agencies are organizations like Safari Club International, Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, and the National Deer Association, which hosts workshops and mentor programs to get hunters of all ages in the field. Private landowners and public land advocates also help to keep deer hunting alive by fighting to maintain access and promote land management that benefits both deer and hunters. United Country Real Estate is a proud purveyor of hunting land and recreational properties of all lifestyles. With our hunting-specific brand, UC Hunting Properties, and a partnership with Realtree, we are committed to aiding deer and other wildlife hunters in their real estate journey. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for our next video.